Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be plagued by fear. Now, this is something that pretty much all of us deal with at some point in our lives, whether it's regarding somebody we're dating, whether it's getting the raise or the promotion that we asked for or are striving for at work, or starting a business and being plagued by fear that it won't work out. Or all of us tend to have the same problem with other people, meaning we're plagued by fear that other people won't match. In other words, their actions won't match our expectations for them. So I got an interesting email that I thought was a great topic, because this guy has a sister that's obviously not making very many good life choices, and so his father and the rest of his family are just totally plagued by fear, and they're worried because she doesn't come home, she disappears, doesn't respond to the phone for a few days. I assume maybe she's either just hanging out with shady people, maybe drugs are involved. They didn't really elaborate, but you can tell just the fear that everybody's worried about the sister and her life choices, which are not at all aligned with what they think they should be, and therefore they're all suffering. And so he's asking, despite the fact he's had a lot of success with implementing what he's learned in 3% Man, my first book that you can read for free at understandingrelationships.com. All you gotta do is subscribe to the email newsletter. But his personal life is going well, but he's got this situation in his family that they're just tearing him up, as they put. So it's a good metaphor, because all of us deal with this on some level. I mean, for those of you that are avid students of my work, how many guy friends have you said, dude, you need to read this book, trust me? And you're like, yeah, I got to get around to that. And you just watch them flounder and struggle and make mistakes and hope that eventually they'll come around and see the light and you'll be able to influence them. It's like, even from my own life, one of the things that has really been a paradigm shift for me over the last 20 years is juicing green vegetables and drinking the green smoothies that I've talked about. And I've got a video and a tutorial how to do that on my YouTube channel, how to make Corey's green juice, and the other one is how to make Corey's green alkaline smoothie. And those two things were a paradigm shift. Now, obviously, you can imagine that when people come over to my house, I usually always have fresh green juice. And some of my friends come over, one of the first things they say is like, hey, you got any fresh green juice? And I give them some. But it's like, I give an example, like my dad. He comes over, one of the first things he does, hey, you got any green juice? I was like, yeah. And I'll say, when was the last time you made it? Oh, it's been a while. It's been like 3-4 weeks or whatever. He always feels better. He always looks better when he makes it consistently. But he just simply won't do it for himself on a frequent and regular basis. And I love my dad, and I care about my dad, and I want him to stick around for as long as possible. And I know he would live a longer, fuller life if he made healthy life choices and kept going to the gym. But over the last few years, now that he's married, he's kind of gotten lazy. He says, yeah, I need to work out. Yeah, I need to do that. And he doesn't. Am I bending myself into a pretzel, worrying about that and being upset about that? Love is allowing. It's like you have to tell people what you want or ask them in a loving way what you want, but the reality is they still have the free will is how they're going to show up. So it's like, what do you do when your reality and what you want and the people around you, how you want them to interact with you, just simply doesn't happen? Maybe that girl you really wanted to go out with doesn't feel the same way. So I've got a quote that I wrote, and then we're going to go through this guy's email and see what he can do to alleviate, because it makes it almost impossible to reach your full potential when you're so worried and focused on somebody else's actions, who the reality is you don't really have any control over what they do or how they show up. And we all are faced with similar situations like this in our own life. So especially, look at all of us dealing with the coronavirus and the consequences of social distancing. The gym in my building in Orlando is shut down, even though all the buildings around me, they're open now. They had opened it up after the quarantine, and then they shut it down because the fucking GM that we have in our building is sitting there in his fucking office looking at the computer, the security screens, and going fucking berserk that people aren't social distancing enough to his liking. So he goes to the board and bitches and complains, and the board just says, all right, just shut the gym down. And I'm at the point now, this place I've been at 7 years, I'm ready to say fuck it. I've been on a month-to-month for many years. I'm just going to move the fuck out and get a house and buy my own gym equipment for this place. It's like, why would I want to continue to pay rent and have my health impacted in a negative way? I can walk across the street to the gym and join a gym, a public gym, and work out with strangers, but I can't work out in this really nice gym that we have in our building. That's fucking stupid. So I get two choices. I can bitch, I can complain about it, and I can send letters, or I can say, fuck it, I'm going to move out if you don't open the fucking gym back up, and your 7-year-long tenant that's been living here is going to be fucking gone. I'm gonna do what I need to do to take care of my life and my body the way I want to. So we all got circumstances like this in our life that bring pressure on us. It's like, I want to be healthy. I want to work out. I want to take care of myself. And I got somebody, and then another thing with the GM, he's fucking morbidly obese and fat. So he doesn't care about the gym being open. He cares about micromanaging all our lives. It's probably the only time this dude's ever had power in his life. And I'm fucking over it. So with that said, I'm going to go through this quote and then read this guy's email. And the quote says, you should never care more about someone else's success and well-being than they do. When we want reality to be other than it is, we suffer. We must see reality as it is, not better than it is or worse than it is. In order to alleviate suffering, we must cultivate the ability to let go of our attachments to circumstances and people showing up as we want them to be. We don't have control over what happens to us, but we always have the ability to decide what things mean. Love and accept people and circumstances however they show up. Love is allowing. Continue to guide and influence others to reach their full potential, but accept the reality that most people will fall way short of the expectations we set for them. It is so true. So let's go through this guy's email. He says, Dear Coach Corey, this email may be a little different to the ones you normally receive. I followed your work for about 3 years, and you have tremendously helped me get my dating life in order. However, me and my family have faced a different kind of problem for years. This is in reference to my younger sister. In a nutshell, Coach, she has to be one of the most reckless people I have ever known. I understand that she's a grown woman, but the absolute fear that she puts on not only myself but my parents is becoming unbearable at this point. Well, it's not that she's putting fear on you, it's that you and the rest of your family are choosing to be fearful about her life choices. But the reality is, as you say, she's a grown-ass woman. She's going to do what she wants, when she wants, and with who she wants. She obviously knows that you all love and care about her and you want the best for her, and you've probably pleaded with her and begged and asked her in a loving way to change the way she's living her life. But so far, at least up until this point, she's chosen not to. So again, like I said in the quote, you and your family are choosing not to accept the reality that your sister is a fuck up. And it sounds like some of her life choices are obviously putting her in danger, and you're obviously worried about her safety and her health, which is understandable. But you can only do so much. It's like somebody that's got a drug or an alcohol or some kind of an unhealthy addiction problem. If they don't see themselves as having a problem, they're not going to do anything about it. And you getting upset about somebody not choosing what you think they should choose in life, it's not going to make your reality any better. You're going to suffer because you're not accepting reality. When we don't accept reality as it is, we're no longer living in the present moment. We're living in the future of what we're worried about that may or may not happen, or we're living in the past worried about that what happened in the past may happen again at some point in the future, instead of living reality as it is, which is, hey, your sister's a fuck up. You love her, you care about her, but you need to live your life. And your dad needs to live his life and have some fucking peace. And you're going to have to accept the reality that your sister's life choices are not to your liking. and that her life choices may end up with her in a really bad place someday. It sucks, but there's not a lot you can do about it. It's just like I was talking about earlier with my dad. I wish he would take better care of himself. I mean, I am a life coach, and all the things like the juicing and the smoothies, when he's done that, he feels amazing. He looks amazing. He acknowledges it. But he just won't do it. He just won't help himself. Am I going to get all upset about it? Am I going to cause that to affect how I'm taking care of my body? It's like, no. I'm just going to continue to lead by example and do the best I can. And, you know, my dad, he's going to live his life the way he wants to live, just like your sister's going to live the way she wants to live. All you can do is love her, hope she makes the right choices, but at the end of the day, you guys got to live your life. And right now, you're not living your lives and enjoying your lives because you're so worried about the actions of somebody that you have no control over. You just have absolutely no control. When I say she is reckless, I really do mean it. She's constantly putting herself in very dangerous situations. She hangs out with a very shady crowd. She will disappear for days on end and likes to go jogging in the middle of the night. Mind you, her neighborhood is one of the most unsafe places in the city. Obviously, you've probably told her this. She probably knows that, but she does it anyway. What are you going to do? You can't force her to live the way you want. All you can say is, my sister's kind of a fuck up. I love her, but I can't help her. She don't want to help herself. That's her fucking problem. I need to live my life for me and create a great example for my friends and my family and what I want. Things have gotten so bad that my father recently suffered a mild stroke brought on by the constant stress and worry after he failed to get a hold of her for a few days. I just say, look, I love you, but you're making choices that I don't agree with, and you're putting your life and your future in jeopardy. And you know what? I'm done. I'm not going to worry about it. If you want to be a fuck up and drive your life into the ground, it's going to be a tragedy for all of us, but I'm not going to continue to get my panties in a bunch over you, because it's like, obviously, no amount of my loving you or caring about you or wanting you to do well matters to you. You don't care that you disappoint me. You don't care that we worry. It's like, so I'm going to stop worrying. Nothing I can do about it. I mean, there really isn't. The only thing you have control over is how, like I said in the quote, what the meaning is that you assign to the circumstances. The circumstances being that your sister's making bad life choices. You say, hey, we tried to influence her as best we could. I have peace with that. I'm okay with that. It's just like a negotiation. You put your chips on the table, just like I am with the guy that I leased this place in Orlando from. And it's like, he can either go and agree with the things that I want, or I'm moving the fuck out, and I'll get a different place, and I'll get my needs met somewhere else. You know, I don't want to move. I hate moving. It's a fucking pain in the ass. I have 2 places. I'd rather not deal with it. But if I'm going to be unable to have access to the gym and our other facilities that I'm fucking paying for because of some fucking employee of ours that's on a fucking power trip, well, fuck them then. I'll just find a different place to live. I don't need this shit in my life. It is what it is. I'm not going to stress about it. I'm irritated. It shouldn't be happening, but it is what it is. I chose to live in a condo. I just never imagined that we would have these kind of circumstances. I mean, who could have? It's like interesting to see people for how they really look at the world. All the little control freaks, the politicians, they've really made themselves known. He says, we have filed so many missing persons reports that the cops will no longer take us seriously. Stop filing them. It doesn't, the police don't take you seriously. It just, you're wasting your time and it's giving you grief. I understand that this is fear of a different kind, but I figure fear stems from a similar place. You're a life coach and you probably deal with aspects of all types. We have tried sitting down with her and discussing our concerns, but she will hear none of it. It's kind of the same kind of situation where you're stuck in friend zone, the girl doesn't want to let you out. Then you say, well, I'm not going to let you be in my life because I don't want to be in a platonic relationship with you. I'd rather just create a space with somebody that I'm attracted to and who feels the same way and who actually wants to be there. I'm not interested in being your pal or your placeholder or your emotional tampon or your gay male girlfriend while you date other guys and keep me as a backup plan. It's like, I'm not into that. I'm going to find what I want, whether it's with you or somebody else. And if you don't want the same things I do, it's time for us to go down the road and separate. That's, you laid your cards on the table and your sister said, I'm not buying. I'm not interested in doing that kind of a deal with you. That's it. You got to let the chips fall where they may. And not feel bad about it. You shouldn't feel bad about somebody else's life choices. No amount of you getting upset or angry or depressed or sad about your sister's life choices is going to make any of you happier or improve the quality of your life. It's like all of you are purposely causing your lives to be more negative because of what you're focusing on, and that's the actions of somebody that you have no control over in the first place. It's like being mad that the sky is blue. It's not a damn thing you can do about it. It's like being mad that it's fucking raining outside when you'd rather it be sunny so you can go out and lay by the pool or the beach or do something fun in the sun. Getting upset about it is kind of silly. You can't do anything about it. All you can do is make yourself miserable, and it's not healthy anyways. If you're thinking negatively and you're thinking about negative things, your body is going to physically correspond to your thoughts. You're going to fill your body full of toxins, and you're going to make yourself sick because you're being upset over somebody else's life choices. Look at all the things you have to be grateful for in your life and focus on that. And try not to focus on what your sister's doing. Again, none of you have any control over it. She knows where you stand, and it's up to her to make better choices. But you have to accept the reality that her choices probably, or could, in all likelihood, lead to her demise. And it sucks. There's nothing you can do about it. Brushing us off and being obsessed with her and her life, which is, we've tried sitting down with her and discussing our concerns, but she will hear none of it. She brushes us off and says we are obsessed with her and her life, which isn't true. Obviously, she feels that way, and you guys have put as much pressure on her as you can, but it still hasn't worked. So the only thing you can do, because you're tired of suffering, all of you, is to accept reality as it is. You've tried. You want the best for her. She's basically told you all to pound sand. So, hey, you gave it your best shot. It sucks, but it is what it is. I'm going to be grateful for my life and my sister's life and the good times that we've had. And if she makes choices that ruin her life, well, she made those choices. This is tearing my family apart, Corey, and we just don't know what to do anymore. My concern has escalated because of my father's health. He just can't take much more of us. So decide not to. Decide not to let it bother him. Decide, I don't have forever to live, and the time I do have left, I want to enjoy. How about your father enjoying his time with you and the other members of the family that they get along with and whose life choices they support and whose goals and values they're aligned with? Look at the reasons that you have, how all the other people in your family you have to be grateful for, and focus on that. If you have any advice at all, Coach, we could use all the help we can get. Thank you for your good work. Like I said, you're all suffering because you haven't accepted reality as it is. If you accept reality as it is and focus on the things you do have control over, which is what things mean to you, and all the reasons and all the blessings that you have in your life and all the people that are blessings in your life that you have to be grateful for, focus on them. Give your energy to those people who appreciate it. Because when you give to a giver, the giver will give back. When you give to a taker, the taker just fucking sucks. And it leaves you feeling miserable. So don't do what makes you feel miserable. Focus on loving the people who appreciate your love and your care and your concern. And the people that you can't, love them as well, but give them a silent blessing and wish them all the best, because until somebody who's a fuck up recognizes that they're a fuck up and wants to do something about it and personally chooses to do something about it, it's not a damn thing you can do. You can gently try to guide them or love them, but at the end of the day, they're going to make their choice, and you need to make your own choices for your own mental sanity. It's just silly to make yourself suffer unnecessarily for something that's totally out of your control. It sucks, but at the end of the day, it's out of your control. You've all done the best you can. You gave it your best effort. You laid all your cards on the table, and your sister is unwilling to play ball at this moment in time. She may or may not ever get to the point where she's ready to play ball. But that's life. And at the end of the day, we all turn to dust anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter. So whatever time we got left, might as well find a way to enjoy it. So if you've got a situation that you're struggling with, whether it's in your personal or your professional life, you can go to understandingrelationships.com, book a coaching session with yours truly. And until next time, I will talk to you soon.